coming in off a tie at the 10:30 game. So they took 10-15 minutes to get some fluids in them. Maybe a power bar, clean the ice. And now they're fired up and rearing for the start of game 2, which is period 4 in a 6-period game for back-to-backs on these two. These become exhausting days when we do these back-to-back games. They can become very irritating and agitating games, but so far I'm loving the energy. It's taking the true definition of friendly hockey between these two teams and just playing a well-fought hockey game.
Yep. And we didn't see anything that made us think this was anything but a fairly clean first game that we saw, a 2-2 tie for these two clubs, both playing very hard. We'll see a different goaltender here for game 2. It'll be Rosie who gets the start, Rosario Caniglia, I should say. He will be our starting goaltender for game 2. Good effort by Beast in that first game. Really had to make some tough saves.
Took one off the forehead there.
Yeah.
And some really good tracking of some cross-ice passing by the Kansas City Scouts that he was able to just go back and forth from pipe to pipe in his crease and make some big saves. So you're absolutely right, Dave. And there's that team chemistry between the Beast and Rosie at center ice as they give each other a pat on the back and a good luck and a congratulations on the last game, Beast, and way to go. Go get them, Rosie. As we get started, the buzzer sounds, the pucks go back to the bench. Team players are going to...
You know, those goalies, they got to stick together. They got a hard job, and only they understand what the other guy is up against. So there really is a great camaraderie at that particular position.
That's a big point. No, it's pretty overlooked how much of a mental game it is for the goaltenders, and they do a terrific job of just staying in their game with their focus and standing right back up and focusing on the next shot that's coming at them and not getting mentally blocked by any sort of goal or any sort of screening or any sort of incidental contact that might occur in that crease of theirs, but staying focused on their game. So
we should, before we get started, Matt, want to recognize the third member of our broadcast team, Chase Newcomer, who's doing all the old stats. Chase right there. Got the phone at the ready. He's doing the unsung hero work on this one.
Thanks, Chase. Appreciate everything you're doing for the OMA Jr Mavericks and our team. T-squared, Allers, court right on the face-off. Bear and Boston, the boss on defense. The Bear drinks it in hard, goes deep. Allers and T-squared doing the work. T-squared behind the net. Sauce pass up over the net, pops out to the boss. Boss at the blue line, skates in top of the circle, bouncing shot off the blocker of the goalie, goes back behind again. T-squared battling behind the net. Here comes Allers to help, pinched on the back wall. Courtright now gets the loose one in the corner, feeds back to the middle. Allers tries to get the deflect. That one goes back behind. Allers to Courtright, still back and forth behind the net, rings one up the short wall. Scouts pick it up in their own end. They're going to desperately ring it around the boards. That one gets out of the zone and goes loose. It's a puck chase into Maverick territory. Scouts get there first, try to feed the middle. The Bear's there. Bear gaining some speed, gets some body on him, but maintains composure, picking up some speed through the neutral zone, loses control momentarily from the boards, now behind, soft toss to the middle, sticked away by the Scouts. Change on the fly for the Mavericks. Jack Davis intercepts in the neutral zone, trying to stick handle his way to the middle, forced to the boards. Back and forth along the short wall. Defense is Will Fleming. He'll send one puck flying into the opposite corner. Scouts pick it up in the opposite corner again. They're skating behind their own net. Gaining some speed out of their own zone. Fleming and... oh, who's my far defense? Shot on goal by the Scouts. Good save by Rosie. It looks like, who's my far defenseman there?
That's Wyatt Ike.
Say that again?
Wyatt Ike.
Wyatt Ike on defense with Will Fleming. Jack Davis. Taz. And who's my other offense there in the corner? Schneider?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's
Face off in Omaha territory. Somewhat one back to Scouts, but poke checked away. Taz struggling to get control in neutral zone. Sticked away at the blue line, pushed ahead by Fleming. Scouts pick it up in the neutral zone, go cross ice with it. Stonebreaker comes off the bench. Puck goes loose in Omaha territory. Ike to Fleming. Fleming up the board, intercepted by Scouts. Top of the circle, tries to pull it off the boards. Fleming's there to stick handle it away. Defense keeps it in. A shot and a score from the blue line. Kind of a knuckle puck, arching shot that I think he was just trying to honestly dump in the zone, which is what probably Rosie thought too. That one found the back of the net. Scouts draw first blood on game 2. 9:50 left in the first period, 1-0. Scouts in this lead. Vinny Heater, Stonebreaker, Sturba out there on offense. Got Ike and Fleming on defense. Win by the... Heater picks up the puck as they get into the zone. Puck come out to the blue line. Fleming battles, but now KC gain territory. Fleming creates a turnover at the top of the circle. Circles behind his own net. Big hit as he had speed behind. Stays on his feet. Still getting bodied behind the net. Scouts get the turnover, but the physical play goes to Omaha Mavericks. Tangled up at the top of the blue line. Fleming comes out of the zone with it again. Gets across the red line, dumps in, changes. Stonebreaker gets his stick pulled out from under him. A little corner battle going on, and KC Scouts in. Ike intercepts slightly. Play is stopped.
Hand pass called on that one.
We're going to hand pass on... like on Omaha, and so we'll get a face-off at neutral zone territory. Nandor, the Bear, Nandy and the Bear out on defense. Eater, Stonebreaker,
sounds like a 70s
Sturba
show on TV, doesn't it? Oh, that's BJ and the Bear.
That's a Starsky and Hutch movie coming out later. Scouts get a big shot on goal. Great chest save by Rosie. The Bear trying to pinch it off, but the Scouts still battling in the corner for it and off in Omaha territory. Scouts keep it in at the blue line, ringing around a little too hard. Nandy picks it up in the corner. Nandy loses control. He's going to use his body to keep trying to get that puck momentum moving out of his zone. Sturba bounces it out, forces Scouts to reset. Scouts shake and bake in neutral zone. Start coming right back into Omaha territory. Picked up by the Bear at the top of the circle. Board pass, gets it out of the zone. A puck race into Scout territory. This one's going to touch up for an icing. No, icing's waved off. Boys are going to battle in the corner then. Deep, Sturba trying to get the forecheck. Scouts get control. Pass it out of their zone. Nandor stops it in neutral zone. Pass it over to Bear. Bear, stick handling, top of his circle. To behind himself. Scouts get the shot towards the net, but that one gets easily blocked before it got to the net. Omaha struggling to get it out of their zone. Tremaine rings it around. Courtright just can't quite get there. Scouts pick it up. They keep it in the zone. Feed to the middle. Lots of Mavs in the way. Scouts keep it in. Shot towards the net. Gets deflected wide. Here comes Bear. Uses his shoulder. Puck still gets sent behind. Now Nandy in the opposite corner. Pushing it up the short wall. Heater gets bodied off it. Puck comes out to Bear. Passes it ahead to Courtright. Can't quite handle the pass. Puck comes out to neutral zone. Courtright trying to move his feet. He gets shouldered off easily. Scouts rifle one up to Mavs blue line. Big change on the fly. Here comes T-Squared. Gain zone from the wall. Fires just wide of the net. Rings around to the other side. Mavericks trying to keep it in. That's the boss. Loses control. Scouts fire one on net. Rosie with a big stick save. Pushes it to his teammate. T-Squared. All alone, outnumbered. Crosses the blue line. Fires. Kick save into the corner. T-Squared gets his own rebound. Fire to the middle. Paxton's there. Gets his stick tied up. Loose puck in the skates. And that one comes out on Scouts tape. Jumbled up again. T-Squared doing some great forechecking to keep it in the zone. Schneider and T-Squared doing some hard work there along the short wall as Scouts finally end up desperately dumping it out of territory. That's an icing call. Stops the clock. 6:20 left in the first period, 1-0. KC Scouts in the lead.
You know, one thing that I've noticed in the early going of these two games that we played here is that you can tell some of those first-year Bantam guys have to remember that they can hit, where they have opportunities to maybe take the guy off the puck with a hit, and they'll try for a poke check instead of trying to use their bodies to make that play. And that'll come with time. They'll figure it out.
Great call, yeah. The boss and Ike back on defense. Scouts gain territory again. Ike's back to pick it up behind his own net. Poke checks into the corner. Scouts pick it up. They're on the attack. Try to feed it to the front. The boss there to help. Sturba bounces it off the wall to get it out. Then he taps away the pass ahead. He's all alone along the boards. Feeds the heater. Fires. Big glove save by the Kansas City Scouts. Sturba making something out of that chase.
Great pass from Braden. Actually did a great job to get through the defenseman. He kept his feet moving and played right through him, and then was able to really set up Vinny with a terrific pass.
Thread the needle with that pass, so there was a tacker between them, and it went through everybody's tape and landed right on Heaters for a great shot on goal. Fleming, the Bear, out on defense. Here comes Davis.
Line of bigs for the Mavericks here.
Big shot off the mask of the goalie from Will Fleming. Scouts pick up the rebound. Sturba keeps it in. Heater, Davis, Sturba out there on offense. Puck goes deep.
Did it go mask, crossbar, and then
Heater and Jack Davis battling deep in the corner. Scouts come out with it. Bear fires, knuckling, bouncing puck, easily saved. Davis fires one, just lop knuckle puck off of the mask again. Whistle blows to end the play, stop the play here. Not sure what the call was on that one.
Yeah, I think it was just a quick whistle from the referee. I think he thought that the goaltender had control of the puck and had squeezed it, and just a quick whistle.
So Courtright comes out with T-squared and Jack Davis now. Offense in the offensive zone. Bear pokes it ahead. Courtright on the short wall. Fed it softly to the middle, but picked up by Scouts and tapped out of the zone. Bear picks it up at his red line, circles deep in the neutral zone, gaining speed into offensive territory, top of the circle. The dot fires, big save by the Tendy again. Nice pressure by the Omaha Junior Mavericks here.
Starting to push back a little bit here. They've spent a lot of this first period in their own zone, but now starting to get some of that territorial advantage back.
5:10 left in the first period. Still down 1-0 to the KC Scouts. T-square, Courtright, Jack Davis on offense. Back to Nandy and Ike on defense. Ike's going to keep it in deep. Jack Davis trying to work behind the net against 2-on-2 attackers with Courtright helping him. Jack getting tangled. Scouts get it to the corner. Comes back to Ike. Cross ice. Bounces over Courtright's tape. Courtright gets it batted off of his. Goes back behind again. T-squared in the opposite corner. Scouts bat at it hard on Ike's tape. He's going to soft dump it into the corner. T-squared, bodies a man. Jack Davis try to feed the front. Courtright got his stick lifted. Bear doing a good job of keeping, or Ike.
That's George Nandor.
Nandor doing a good job of keeping it in. Courtright now in the corner. Back to Nandy again. Over across ice. T-square picks it up just outside the zone. Back to Ike. Ike tries to tap it ahead. Gets it intercepted. Scouts try to gain the zone. Can't. T-square picks it up on his own blue line. Over to Snyder. Snyder can't quite get the shot off as he gets to the top of the circle. Regains control. Here comes Ike now. Shake and bake. Over to the middle. Almost a rebound by Snyder. And Scouts get it out of the zone now. Jumbled up at the red line. Nice job forechecking and getting Mavs back to defend. Shot on goal. Big save by Rosie. Scouts in the corner circle. Come out to the dot. Shot wide. Almost on a Scouts tape. Fired again back out. Puck can't get out of the zone here. Scouts keeping it in now and a little bit of time on attack at the other end of the ice. Stonebreaker lofted backhand up to Taz. Taz gets pinched on the short wall. Nandy comes in to help. He's going to get it out of the zone. Coach is calling for a fast line change by the Omaha Mavericks. Stonebreaker, Heater. Sturba out there on offense. Scouts gain the zone. the boss, and Fleming out there on defense. Sturba pinches it on the short wall, can't quite get control of it. Comes out of the zone. Stonebreaker using his feet nicely, gets it pushed back towards KC's side of the ice. Heater on the forecheck. Nice poke check by Heater, gets control behind. Circling, gets hit from behind. KC feeding it out cross ice. Nice spinorama by Will Fleming to keep it in. And that hit from behind on Vinny Heater ends up being a penalty. Not sure. Did you see the call? Was it a trip?
I think they called interference. Yeah, interference is the call.
Okay. So Kansas City goes to the sin bin for 1:30, given the first power play of game 2. Offensive face-off for the Omaha Junior Mavericks. This is where I'm guaranteeing the Mavericks coaches are going to take advantage of these friendlies and try all these recipes to see what works best on these power plays and special teams. So we see Bear out there on offense, am I right? With Allers and Stonebreaker from Fleming off of the, oh sorry, that's Wyatt Tremaine on the left wing. T-squared, right wing in the corner, feeds it back to Fleming. Fleming, a bouncing shot, goes back in deep. KC rings it around the toe kick out to Wyatt Tremaine. Tremaine tries to push it back to D. Fleming wasn't quite there. He picks it up and he tries to charge the zone. It gets poke checked away back into the neutral zone. T-squared. And that's not Bear, that's Jack Davis on offense. Puck goes loose down to Omaha territory. Rung around the boards to Fleming. Fleming picks it up on the short wall, gets a little bit mugged from behind. He's able to maintain control, pass it ahead to T-square. T-square runs into traffic. Jack Davis, top of the circle, fires right off the tip of the glove of the goaltender, goes over behind the net. Jack Davis back behind again, feed to the middle, T-square, score! Mavericks tie it up, 1:45 left in the first period, their first power play goal. Jack Davis from behind a T-squared in the crease for a power play goal. Bennett and Taz got to be super happy to see that power play execution finally come together for this team.
Yeah, that was just a real smart play. T-squared was able to find that kind of soft, quiet area where he could get free and get an unmolested shot. And just great work by Jack Davis to get after that puck and to circle the net. Great setup. We got a tie game.
Stonebreaker. Whoop. Interference on Taz.
Interference. Somebody must have set a pick on that.
On
Stonebreaker's going to go off.
Stonebreaker gets an interference right off the face-off drop. There must have been a pick and roll there going on, a little basketball play action.
If I'm not mistaken, Matt, this is the first penalty kill the Junior Mavs have had today.
This is the first penalty for the Omaha Junior Mavs. So congratulations, Roman Stonebreaker, on the first penalty for the Omaha Junior Mavericks. Face-off will come down to Maverick territory. 4-on-5. They're short-handed now. We got Bear and Fleming out there on defense. We've got Snyder, and there's a shot right off the face-off.
Rosie never saw it.
Rosie never saw a beeline from the point, and that one ends the power play within less than 3 seconds.
2 seconds.
So face-off will come back to center ice, and the game will go 2-1. Kansas City Scouts now in the lead. T-squared, Jack Davis. Jacob Courtright back out there on offense with Nandy and Ike out there on defense. Scouts get the face off, quickly comes to the blue line. Nandy intercepts, gets it up to T-squared. T-squared from his red line, forced to the boards, maintaining speed, wraps around behind the net, circling in the offensive zone, stalls out at Ike. Ike keeps it in, Stars try to bat it out of the zone, and that one gets deflected into the Scouts bench, not the Stars, sorry. Yep. The Scouts bench, and that'll stop the play with 1:17 left in the first period. 2-1, Scouts in the lead. T-squared, Courtright, Jack Davis on this offensive face-off draw with Nandy and Ike behind him. Face-off win back to Nandy. Nandy tried to backhand it to Ike, and now we got a breakaway for the KC Scouts. KC, Deeks, and a big save by Rosie! Puck goes to the corner. Battling out of the corner is Ike. Ike gaining speed through the neutral zone, forced to the boards. losing some control, but still the momentum going deep. Here comes T squared off of the boards, gets it to the middle, but quickly gets batted away. The boss at the blue line bounces one towards the net. That one goes wide, back into the corner. Here comes Jack Davis. Jack giving him a little fight, but Scouts ringing along the boards. Boss picks it up, tries to feed the middle. Too many Scouts in the way. That one pops out of the zone, and now we got a one-on-one attack. Nice back checking. Good poke check by the Bear to send it to the boards. Forces his man down to the ground, still swatting at it there, just in front of the Mavericks bench. 5, 6 players tied up there. Wow, what a traffic jam there in front of the Mavericks bench. Courtright picks it up, wings it cross ice. That one likely going to be an icing call unless Scouts touch up. No, they're not going to call it. No icing. Scouts behind their own net as the last 2 seconds tick off the first period. Nice, well, hard-fought battle by both teams again, 2-1. What was the end of the score of the first period of the first game? Are we looking at the exact same repeat that we just saw in this first game here?
Yeah, maybe right. Or was that the score at the end of the second period?
That could be, but this is turning out to be almost the exact same game that we've just played. I mean, outside of Omaha Mavericks, Kudos having a really big charge on their power play there and taking advantage of a man up. And we saw the Scouts answer right back, just like they did in game 1.
Both teams 1 for 1 on the power play today in this second game. Each team able to cash in with a man advantage.
So 2-1, we're seeing a little bit more mix-up, and I apologize if I'm botching some of these, having trouble picking up some of the players' names and spotting them. The changing of the lines makes it a little bit harder to call these games, and as the season goes on, I promise I'll memorize every skate knot in their laces and be able to identify them from the top row a lot easier to make this play call a little bit smoother.
It's early season for all of us, right? we're all trying to sort of file down those sharp edges.
Both teams get a little pep talk at their benches from their coaches. A fresh 12 minutes go on the clock to mark the start of the second period. 2-1. KC Scouts in the lead over the Omaha Jr Mavericks.
Very evenly played first period, though, Matt. You know, both teams had some good chances. Was it who was it that buzzed the tower and put one off the crossbar?
I think that was Fleming again.
Yeah, Fleming is that heavy
Fleming
shot.
had an outstanding weekend here. Not to say his effort on defense is just phenomenal, but his shots on goal and offensive attack, being from the defensive position, has been just terrific. So Schneider, Wyatt Tremaine, and Taz out there on offense. The Boss and the Bear on defense. Scouts pick up the face-off, get it loose deep into Omaha territory. Shake and bake behind, loose puck into the slot. Schneider comes in to the rescue, and we got Bear going to the hook. The Bear going to the second penalty for the Omaha Mavericks this season. Going on Gavin Davis, the Bear, for a hooking call there, deep in his own zone. So we'll have a face-off in Omaha territory and a 5-on-4 power play opportunity for the KC Scouts. 11:45 left in the second period. 2-1 Scouts in the lead. Out comes Allers, Schneider, and Stonebreaker with the Boss on D.
That's actually Wyatt.
Oh, that's Ike,
yeah,
not Stonebreaker.
27.
I'm getting there. So Ike and the Boss on defense. KC tries to push it out to the front. Lots of feet in the way. Stonebreaker tries to ring it off the boards. KC picks it up, tries to get it to the middle. Gass doing a good job of intercepting that one and pushing it out of the zone. Stonebreaker on the forecheck here, shorthanded. Intercepts it from the circle. Stonebreaker fires just wide of the net. KC picks it up, gaining speed out of their zone. Into Maverick territory. Nice poke check by the Boss. Sends the puck to the board. Stonebreaker along the short wall. KC trying to stick handle to the middle. Job by defense. Comes to the middle that time. Nice job by Allers to poke it out of the zone. Allers now on the forecheck. Can't quite get it away. Staying on the attack. Scouts bobbling it through the neutral zone. Easily sent back the other way by Pikey, and that one's going to be an icing. 25 seconds left in the power play for the Kansas City Scouts. 10:40 left in the second period. 2-1, still the score with Kansas City Scouts in the lead. Out comes Nandor. Jack Davis.
Guys really working hard on this penalty kill, Matt.
Will Fleming, the 4 men out there on this shorthanded. Pop fly out through the slot, comes to the boards. Jack Davis can't quite get there. Will Fleming picks it up in his corner, gets his pocket pick, puck trickling, shot on goal, big save by Rosie. Another rebound attempt goes up and over the net. Nandy hustling for it. One-on-one corner battle. Nandy pushes it out to the middle. Nice poke to send that one as Bear comes out of the box, and now 5-on-5 hockey. Heater pushes it to the middle. Now a loose puck, almost a shot on goal by Jack Davis. Nandy keeps it in. Wyatt Tremaine deep in the corner, tries to backhand it, gets bodied back to the corner. Bailing hay a little bit there in the corner. Jack Davis pushes it back to Fleming. Fleming can't get it cross ice. And a foot race into Omaha territory. Fleming pinches his man along the short wall. A big check kind of missed. Scouts pick it up, circling behind Omaha's net. Feed to the middle. Nice job by Wyatt to poke it. Play stops. And Fleming's going to go. They're calling that a roughing, even though he didn't get him, but the attack was a little bit overly aggressive and almost a head contact with that shoulder. So careful.
Now, referees sometimes will go on the sound of a play, and if things sound loud, sometimes it ends up being a penalty, even if it wasn't supposed to be.
If he would have caught the head with that shoulder, that would have been a lot
that would have
worse.
been bad.
So that's probably a good warning from the ref there. So another power play for the KC Scouts. A shot on goal from KC and a nice grab by the trapper, Rosie, to freeze the play once again. 9:25 left in the second period. 2-1 Scouts in the lead, and now on 1:26 remaining power play attack. 5-on-4 for the Scouts. They win a face-off here in Omaha territory. Circle back in the corner. Feed it back to their defense. Defense back to the wing. Keeping it deep in the zone. The wing circles, dumps it back behind the net. Bear gets it and rings it hard. Can't quite get it out of the zone, though. Defense keeps it in. Bear gets it back in the corner. A little bit softer of a rung around there. Scouts come off the board, try to get the shot, goes through the slot, comes over to Ike. Ike tries the board pass, gets it out of the zone. Tangled up in some skates. Scouts, that should have been offsides, but it wasn't. Shot deflected by the Bear. Now he's going to rifle it. It gets out of the zone. Touched up. Oh, no, that wasn't touched up. That one's going to be an icing call. And we're going to come back down for a fresh face-off with 41 seconds left in the power play for the KC Scouts. 8:41 left in the second period. The short-handed unit not looking too stout here for the Mavs right now, playing just a desperate game of get it out of their zone. Bear stays out there on defense. That's Hollers, that's Paxson.
Oh, look out.
And here comes T-squared. He's got some speed. Shot from the top of the circle, goes wide. Rung back out of the zone. Here comes Scouts back into offensive territory. Scouts get the whistle, and we're going offsides. We'll get a neutral zone face-off as Ike and the Bear remain on defense with T-squared and Hollers. Nope.
23 to go on the Fleming penalty.
23 seconds left here in the power play for the Scouts. We get fresh defense. That's the boss, and that's Nandy. Hollers and T-squared on offense. Tried to tap it ahead. Boss now back to chase, deep in Omaha territory. The soft shoulder doesn't work. Scouts from behind feed the high slot, and a shot gets nicely saved by Rosie. Hollers on the forecheck here, just trying to get it out. Scouts, stick handle, shot. Blocker save, back behind. Scouts hustling to it in the corner again. Full strength, Omaha Mavericks. Scouts from the blue line, fire, tried the deflection, and that one goes up into the netting. That will stop the play and create an offensive attack for the Kansas City Scouts again. Stops the play at 7:49 in the second, remaining in the second period. 2-1 Scouts in the lead. Nandy, the boss, out on defense. Fresh offensive legs are Stonebreaker, Taz, and Schneider. They're going to drop the puck in Omaha. End of the ice with a 5-on-5 now, even strength hockey game. Schneider trying to get that loose offensive win. Goes back to the blue line. Scouts get a shot. Nice save by Rosie. Nandy picks it up. Gets mean mug from behind. Stonebreaker comes in to help. Loses control behind his own. Schneider bats it around, or Boss bats it around the corner. Schneider tried to feed the middle. Picked off by Scouts. Scouts blast it down into the neutral zone. Boss over to Nandy. Nandy. Board pass up to Taz. Gets past everybody. Drizzles into Scouts territory. A little break and change of speed, change of direction. Andy does a good job of keeping it in the zone. Stalls out at the short wall. Batted in deep. Omaha needs an attacker. Here comes Heater. Scouts, the pass out of the zone. A 2-on-2 the other way. Change of direction, nice check from Stonebreaker, stalls it out at the blue line, and here comes T-Squared, a 2-on-1. Heater, T-Squared, T-Squared gets it batted off of his tape to the corner. Drizzles back out to the dot and comes out of the zone. Here comes Scouts on a breakaway. Towards the slot, big save by Rosie. 6:30 left in the second period. Jack Davis now out there with Vinny Heater. The boss trying to push it up the boards. Fleming out there now. So we got Fleming and the boss on defense. Sturba, Jack Davis, and Vinny Heater on offense. Puck gets dumped deep into Scouts territory. Short wall, Heater stalls it out. Jack Davis feeds the middle, nothing but Scouts there. They pass it out of the zone. Loss of control.
Penalty coming up for the Mavericks.
Nice job by Boss. Picks it up. What's going on here? Sturba with an interference, and Omaha Mavericks go on another short-handed.
Well, this will be hard to keep up for the Junior Mavericks to be killing the spinning penalties in period 5 of 6 straight. You got to get back to the attack a little bit more.
5:55 left in the second period. A fresh power play for the KC Scouts. Out comes Schneider, Stonebreaker on offense. You got Ecke. You got Fleming on defense. A face-off win back to the Scouts. A shot! And Rosie got a piece of it, but it ended up getting through the legs and into the back of the net. There's another one where those face-off wins are huge. Yeah. And that puts the KC Scouts up 3-1, and I'd say it's due to the power play opportunities they're getting. The last 2 goals all came from just one-timers off a face-off drop on power plays in the offensive zone. So face-off wins are a big deal. Stonebreaker, Schneider, Taz out there on offense. Ike, Fleming on defense. Center ice face-off drop with 5:45 left in the second period. Puck gets loose into KC territory. Have a back and forth here in the high slot. Nobody can get control of it. 4 or 5 players there battling hard. Schneider at the top of the circle, fires wide of the net. And rings up to the short wall. Fleming pinches to keep it in, but Scouts batted over his shoulder. That one comes cross ice to the opposing Scouts short wall. Fire it to a sandbagger, another breakaway, and shot, score! Watch the man behind. 2 guys deep, caught way behind the Omaha defenseman. They didn't even see him. The long in-zone Jones pass was tape to tape for the KC Scouts, and they got another just outnumbered rush with
such a tough spot for Rosie to be in. He's got to take the shooter, but he's also got to be mindful of that other guy when it's a 2-on-0 like that. It's not much he can do except hope that the guy just buries it in his pads.
Courtright, Tremaine, and T-Squared on the offensive drop. The boss and the bear on defense. 5:13 left in the second period. 4-1 now KC in the lead. Another KC win. They bobble it into the offensive zone. Puck trickles onto the Bears tape. He bounces it up to T-squared. He's got room to skate. He's got 2 attackers on him. Shot! Big save by the Kansas City Scouts. And that's the first big scoring chance we've seen from the Omaha Mavericks here in quite a few minutes. So great job to keep your head up and fight right back after a goal.
Well, and T-squared was really moving his feet, and that's what the Mavericks have to do.
Face-off win. Bear rings one into a player. T-squared tries to dribble it. Gets batted away. Boss fires one. Another off of the same player.
Yeah.
The Scouts player just taking shot after shot, and then they dump it out of the zone. That's an icing.
That poor player is going to need a few ice bags after this game.
That poor number 50, he took a hard shot from the Bear, then took a shot from the Boss, as both defense fired from the blue line there on that shift. Then iced it out of the zone, so now we'll come back to KC territory for a face-off, and we'll keep Courtright, Tremaine, and T-squared out there on offense with the Boss and the Bear on defense. Another Scout face-off win. Back to the corner. Pinched on the short wall. Picked off by KC Scouts. Gaining speed through the neutral zone. Got plenty of attackers back and a nice poke check by Bear. Bear lifts it up off the wall. Gets it out of the zone. T-squared. Getting mean mug from behind and through another skater. Loose into the corner. Somewhat of a check from behind. No call on the play. Over to T-squared. Top of the circle. Fires. Save just wide. Courtright trying to battle on the short wall. Can't get the puck. There's a hit by T-squared. Can't slow him down. Bear picks his pocket as he gets to the circle. Comes off the wall. Goes to Courtright. Courtright bodied off the puck. KC Scouts. The top of the circle. Lots of traffic. Loose puck trickles through the slot. Goes back to the corner. Mavs, the desperate board dump to try and get it out. Courtright trying to assist, and Scouts keep it in. Scouts pick it up in the far circle now. Circling from the boards, a shot blocked by players. Courtright can't get it through defense. Scouts shot on goal, almost a deflection. That goes behind again. Loose puck, top of the slot. Courtright picks his pocket. Courtright backhands it out of the zone. That one going the length of the ice. All of the Mavericks going for a change, at least offense is. Well, Courtright got stuck out there on the forecheck. He was signaling for a change. And he's trying to get to the boards the best he can. Scouts now coming out of the neutral zone with it. Scouts, nice job by Boss forcing it to the boards. The Bear chasing it behind his own net. Scouts getting there. Scouts trying to feed the middle off the side of the net. Puck comes back out front. Heater now out there. He'll feed it into the neutral zone. Intercepted by Scouts. Offsides. As the defense desperately needed a change.
Yeah, these guys got stuck out there a long time.
The Bear and the Boss need a break. Something fierce. 2 minutes and 42 seconds left in the second period. 4-1, KC Scouts in the lead. Sturba. Is that Allers?
Yep.
And that's likely Heater out there on offense. With now Mandy and Ike on defense. Allers forced at the blue line. He gets nudged off the puck. A high shot by KC Scouts goes wide and far away from the net. Nice poke ahead by Ike. Ike gets it back to him. Nice change of direction to create some space. He doesn't have anywhere to pass, so he's forced to skate. Nice and easy pace. Right into the deep corner of the KC Scouts. Changes directions again. Gets it batted off of his tape. Heater comes in to help. Tried to feed the middle. Pinched in the corner. Comes back out to Ike at the blue line. Tapped ahead back into the corner, deep of the Scouts territory. Allers, Ike on the chase. Scouts pick it up, ring it around the boards. Mandy's there to tap it back in. That knuckle puck gets out of the zone. Nandy's in a foot race here with a Scout. He gets there first. Can't get it through the second defenseman. Bops it up over his corner. Bops it up over his shoulder, before the Scouts dump it in deep. Ike gonna retrieve in his own corner deep. Scouts on a line change. Tries to go cross ice to Sturba. Sturba, Allers. Heater still out there on offense. Mandy, now Fleming out there on defense. Kicked ahead by Scouts. Nice chip shot as Fleming lost an edge. Chipped it ahead. Heater, we got a line change now. Jack Davis comes out there. We got Heater, Sturba, Jack Davis out there. Sturba tries to feed the middle. No one's there. Jack Davis taps it back to Fleming. Fleming fires, and that's the goal! Fleming with his second goal of the night. Of the night. He had one in game 1, and now he just got his second in game 2. Here we go. Will Fleming rifling him from the blue line. Looked like the goalie got that just in the armpit.
Who is it that sent that?
Jack
back to
Davis
Fleming?
pokes it back to
Jack Davis.
Will Fleming.
Matt, that's one to build on here. Goal in the last minute of the second period.
Big face-off win and a Will Fleming charge. Fleming from the bottom of the circle gets his shot saved. Loose puck back out. Scouts go cross ice. The Bears back. Plenty of defense back. A shot on the goal from far out gets easily nestled into the nest by Rosie and frozen there with 32 seconds left in the second period. Now 4-2 the score with Scouts still up. We'll get a face-off in Omaha Maverick territory. Fresh legs take the ice. T-square, court right, Stonebreaker on offense. The boss, Nandy, on defense. A Scout face-off win. Fire from the blue line just goes wide. The boss can't quite get to it. Pocket pick, T-squared, coming ahead. Here comes Stonebreaker. He gets it tapped off of his take, but the puck goes loose down into Scout territory. Stonebreaker and T-squared trying to battle in the corner. Scouts come out with it. Nice job by Stonebreaker to stay with it. Courtright intercepts at the blue line. Blue line bouncing shot goes wide of the net. Scouts pick it up right as the buzzer ends the second period. 4-2. Scouts stay in the lead. And we'll take a little brief intermission break here. Both teams will get coached up for the sixth period of the day, the final period of the weekend for this back-to-back game and friendly weekend for them. So, what are you thinking so far?
Well, it's about giving all they got here in the third period and really testing KC to see what they've got left on their bench, because we talked about it before. The Junior Mavericks have the better numbers. And can they maybe take advantage here in period 6 of maybe some tired legs on that other side? But they've really got to work on getting shots on goal and getting to the net for those rebounds, because the rebounds have been there. There have been opportunities there, but they've got to get out of their own zone faster. There have been times during this game where they've gotten themselves into trouble because they just spent too much time defending and trying to get up ice. And again, that comes with time. Breakouts are something that teams will work on. It's been early. They've been working on a lot of different things. And again, learning to play with each other as a new team, a new collection of guys. It's coming along. You can see
all sorts of different line combinations.
Yeah, and you can see it's there. There's a spark there. It's just a matter of, like we said, it's kind of sanding off the sharp edges and getting this one ready to go.
Tremaine, Heater, Sturba out there on this offensive third period face-off drop. Fleming and the Bear out there on defense. Fresh 12s on the clock. 4-2. KC still in the lead. Maverick face-off win, but quickly turned over. Sent back into Maverick territory. Bear strips it quick at the blue line, carries it back deep into behind his own net, pushes it over to Fleming. Fleming almost loses control in front of his net. The puck trickles out of the zone, sent back the other way. Here comes the penalty. Or was it offside?
Offside. Okay. That's a break for the Junior Mavericks there. They were outnumbered on that one.
But I got lucky on that offsides call there as Scouts was gaining territory there quickly. So same legs will remain on the ice, face off in neutral zone. The Scouts with a kind of a neutral face-off win there. Scouts a little back and forth. Scouts get control. A hard dump into the zone.
Weird,
Bear, nice job. Getting around one, pushes it gently back out to the neutral zone territory. Scouts pick it up at their own blue line. Board pass, outskates Fleming, pushes it ahead. Sturba helps get it in deep. Heater on the forecheck. Scouts pick it up behind their own net. Push it ahead. Fleming keeps it in, backhands it in deep. Heater now on the chase. He'll be the first one to it. Circling up the short wall, trying to keep it into the zone. He does. Back behind. Here comes Wyatt. Tremaine loses control to a Scout. Scout passes it up the short wall. They skate it out of their own zone. Try to chip it past Fleming, and no can do.
Great job.
Sends it flying back into Scout territory again. Change on the fly for both teams. Scouts go cross ice from the red line. Tries to push it ahead. Ends up on a Scout's tape. Intercepted by... That's Paxton. That's Wyatt Ike. Picked up by Holler. Now Heater fires. Big pad save by the Scouts. Tendy gets rung around behind Scouts' goal. Loose puck going up the short wall. Scouts pull it off the wall. Can't quite get it out of their zone. Jumbles ahead. Allers to Snyder. Snyder over to Allers. Allers gets it in. Too many bodies in the way. Scouts pick it up and now skate it out of their own territory. Allers on the back check. Lots of defense back for Omaha. Puck comes trickling to the middle. Ike bats it out of the zone. Scouts pick it up at the red line. Bounce off the boards to themselves. They get the puck up the short wall. Nice job by Ike to back check and turn it over. Ike behind his own net changes direction. Pass ahead just out of reach. A Taz. That one's going to be an icing. And stop the clock with 9:32 left in the game. 4-2. Mavs still down to these KC Scouts. Out comes Nandy. Out comes the boss. Out comes T-squared. Jack Davis. Ivan on offense here. Face off in Omaha territory. Puck drop. Nice charge through, but Scouts quickly pick it up and dump it back in deep. Nandy picks it up behind his own net. Loses his footing. He's back behind. Court right. Tries to pick it up at the blue line. The backhand just trickles past defense. Scouts trying to regroup. Hit from behind. Courtright sent flying forward, and then a big hit at red line again on T-square. Courtright trying to push it ahead. Scouts gain control in their own zone. Loft it up. Can't get it past Jack Davis, but they pick the loose puck up and they dump it into Omaha territory once again. Scouts feeding the middle. That comes loose all the way out to center ice. Trickles into Scouts territory. Scouts pick it up. Circle behind their own net with T-squared as a forecheck. They stall out for a moment. Lose control. T-squared lost sight of it. Stonebreaker picks it up. Circles to the middle. Can't quite get a shot off. Nandy fires it. Sturba feeds the middle. Shot, score! That one kind of went off the Scout player. I think they're going to give it to T-squared, but that's Stonebreaker from behind, fed the middle, and I think they're going to give it to T-squared. Even though it went off of the Scout player into the back of the net, that's 3-4.
Game on, man.
Omaha creeping back up and reducing their deficit in this game. 8:27, lots of hockey left in this game.
Got to keep the feet moving and really test these guys. What do they got left in their legs?
Peter, Stonebreaker, and Sturba's out there on offense. Stonebreaker turns it over at center ice, gaining speed. Lots of defense in front of him. Puck goes loose to the corner. Stonebreaker tries to chip it back to his D. Fleming's there. Stick handles. Can't kite. And then he gets his rebound. Fires. Loose puck. Sturba goes to poke it. Goalie will freeze at 8:06 left in the game. We got Ike and Fleming out there on defense. Sturba, Stonebreaker, Heater on offense. 3-4, Mavs are down, but we've got an offensive face-off here for the Mavericks. Puck drops over to Sturb. Sturb fires, big save, loose puck. Scouts clear it out. Fleming catches up to it. There's the high stick, no call.
Played by a high stick.
We got a battle here on the short wall. Puck comes out to neutral zone. Nice wheels by Ike as forces Scouts to dump and chase. Fleming's going to get there first behind his own net. Pushes it out to Heater. Heater cross ice right on the tape of the Scouts. Scouts change direction. Dump it in. A trickling puck in the slot. Tried to get cleared out by Ike. He couldn't quite get it out. Now we got a 4-man battle on the short wall. The Omaha Maverick zone comes even deeper into the corner. Stonebreaker up the short wall, sends it back up to Heater. Heater gets bodied down. That one goes all the way down the length of the ice. And that'll be an icing call. 7:16 is the time left on that play stoppage, as the icing will bring it back down to Omaha territory. We'll get a line change for both teams. The fresh legs are the Bear and the Boss on defense. Help me out with the offense here. I got Taz,
Schneider, and I think that's Wyatt.
Shot
Wyatt
from
Tremaine.
Scouts. Wyatt Tremaine, Schneider and Taz out there on offense. Back from the blue line again. Scouts got his shot intercepted. Soft tap up to Taz. Schneider couldn't quite get the puck moving forward there with Taz. Scouts bring it back the other way. The Boss intercepts it at his own blue line, chips it ahead into Scout territory. Scouts pick it up. Shot it right into the back of Taz. Scouts chip it cross ice. The Boss. Knuckle puck doesn't get out of the zone. Scouts pull it off the board, shot and score. Top shelf on Rosie as it gets intercepted from the Boss there on the short wall. And an unchallenged shot on goal with a bad angle. But he's able to hit top shelf on Rosie there with 6:40 left in the game. KC Scouts now go up 5-3 on the Omaha Mavericks. Out comes T-Square, Courtright, and Allers on offense. Ike, the Bear.
No, Ike and Nandy.
Ike and Nandy on defense. Face-off win to Mavs. Tap gently ahead to Allers. Allers over to T-Square. T-Square forced to the board. Shot. Big save by the blocker. Goes back behind the net by the... Good job by Courtright. Pinching it. Scouts forced to change direction. Trying to wing it out of the zone. Ike keeps it in. Ike in control. Top of the circle. Shot goes wide. Courtright, first one there. Circles in the corner. Gets it tapped off his tape before he can get it to the middle. Scouts chip it up the boards to move it ahead. Ike pinches it and gets control at his own blue line. Circling in his own zone. Lots of skaters. Poke check away. Changing direction. Nandy's there to play defense. Courtright tries to poke it ahead. He gets pinched off the puck, but it comes out to neutral zone territory. Courtright picks it up at the blue line. Can't find T-Squared. Scouts moving it ahead again. Courtright gets across the red line, and he'll go for a dump and change. 5:42 left in the game. Scouts feed it ahead off from behind their own. Bear circles at the blue line with an interception, gets it poke checked away. Fleming comes cross ice to get it. Foils a breakaway opportunity, bouncing puck. Scouts get a shot, and that's a big kick save by Rosie. Fleming tries to chip it out of the zone. Scouts stop it at the blue line. They get the puck in. Tangled up in some feet. Here comes Heater. Heater outnumbered by defense, but he's going to skate his way all the way into territory. Shot and a big glove save. Loose puck. Heater gets his own. Loose puck still in the slot. Tapped away finally by the Scouts. Lobbed long and hard out of the zone. Scouts race to it. That's an icing. He can't quite get there before it touches the line. 4:58 left in the game. 5-3, Scouts are in the lead. Mavs doing a good job of playing hard through all 6 periods of this play.
Well, and that's one thing the coaches are going to look for is, when we get into these tournaments where you're playing a lot of games in a short span of time, it's being able to keep that effort up each and every time out there.
The Bear and Fleming on defense can't quite control it. There's the turnover. Scouts coming down. Stick handling. Shot and score. The Bear had a knuckle puck kind of sent back to him, so he did what he could to muster it up to get it cross ice to Fleming, and he just didn't get a good pass off to Fleming. And so that got intercepted and created this high-speed breakaway by the Scouts that they just weren't able to catch up to. So 6-3 now. Scouts take the lead even further.
So tough when that puck does not sit down for you and you feel kind of helpless. You know what you got to do and you try to do your best with it, but sometimes the puck just does not cooperate for you.
Ike, the Boss, out there on defense. Ike changes directions, pushes it through the middle, turned over by the Scouts. Ike picks it up again, still bobbling in the slot. There's shot opportunity by the Scouts at foiled. Puck goes to the corner. The Boss battling for it. Schneider poke checking it's a Stonebreaker poke checking and pushing it ahead. Taz helping him. He dumps it. The chase is on. Schneider trying to forecheck to create the turnover. Scouts ringing it up the boards. Here comes Stonebreaker sacrificing the body. A cross-ice pass. Scouts get there first. A knuckling shot goes behind the net. Scouts pick it up out of the corner from the dot. Shot and another score.
That was a good little pivot move by that player. A nice low shot just inside that far post. That's a tough one for Rosie to really be able to handle. He's got to try to cover that close post, that short post. And that far side, sometimes is where they hit it. Not much he can do there.
Hard to keep your head up when this quicksand starts to hit the club. So T-squared court right. Wyatt Tremaine out there. Scouts push it ahead off the offense. Nice job by Nandy, stirred up a little bit. Fleming coming over. The pass to the middle. It's foiled. Scouts from the dot. Right into the chest of Rosie. Makes a big save. Pushes back to the boards. Tremaine sends it up. Can't quite get it out. Scouts from the short wall. Feed to the middle. Shake and bake across the middle. Loses control. Goes behind. Out of the opposite corner. Sent through the slot again. Comes T-squared, gaining speed through the neutral zone. Tries to go to the middle, now's got a chance. Tries the forehand, backhand, and goalie makes a big trapper save on the ice to keep that one from going in. 3:11 left in the game, 7-3. Omaha Mavericks down. Fresh legs come out for both teams. Face off in KC territory. Allers, Peter, Sturba on offense. Ike, the Bear on defense. Scouts face-off win. Lob pass out of the zone. That one should be an icing. Does it cross the line? No! Ike gets there, feeds it around the short wall. Peter's going to try and chase to it. Scouts pick it up. Scouts change direction. Ike robs it at the red line. He's got speed, gets into the zone, top of the circle, shake and bake, shot off the crossbar and bounces and lands on the top of the net. Nice job, Wyatt Ike, to create a big charge on attack there and a shooting lane there with the two big stick handling there to get a shooting lane. Same legs remain on the ice. Allers, one of a neutral face-off win in Scouts' favor, bounces out of the zone, comes back to Bear. Bear from his own blue line, tried to push it ahead. They couldn't quite clear the zone in time, even though it was a diving attempt by the Kansas City Scouts. That one's going to freeze the play at 2:34 left in the game and create a neutral zone face-off. With 7-3 still to score, and KC in the lead. Peter, Allers, Sturba on offense, the Bear, and Ike on defense. Neutral zone drop is an Omaha win, but not firmly. Allers kicks it ahead. Allers and Heater from the dot just shoots wide. Sturba in the short wall feeds it back in deep. Allers, nice poke to try and keep it in deep. The corner battle begins. KC comes out with it, circles behind their own net. A board pass, can't quite get past Ike. Ike dumps it in. Allers, shot right into the glove from a sharp angle. And KC makes the save, freezes the play at 2:06 left in the game.
Well, the right idea. Got to put that on his pads, though, so that he can't control it maybe as well. You put it right there in the glove, and that's a tough one. You're hoping for a rebound chance for the guy in front.
Now Jack Davis comes out to take the face-off circle. Fleming gets a loose one, fires through traffic. That one's saved. We got Taz and we got Schneider out there to help him on offense. Fleming and the Boss on defense. Puck comes flying out of the KC corner. That one will go the length of the ice. One's going to be an icing on the KC Scouts. 1:48 left in the game. Face-off will come back down to Scouts territory. Same legs will remain on the ice. 7-3 Scouts in the lead over the Omaha Mavericks. Those legs on the ice are Fleming and the Boss on defense. Taz, Schneider, Jack Davis on offense. Nice teamwork there to communicate and line up for this face-off. Jack Davis is going to take the drop. Yeah, kind of a neutral win. Jack hustles back for it, fires it towards the net, goes wide. Taz picks up in the corner, bounces it behind the net. Jack kind of gets there first. Puck comes trickling out of the zone. Schneider picks it up. Penalty coming up.
Fleming's going to go.
Interference on Will Fleming. Was that really an interference?
Yeah, well, it was just a little bit. The kid didn't have the puck. Will kind of took him out. I don't know. Some guys will let it go by. Some won't.
Minute 32 left in the game. Now a fresh minute and 30 penalty for the Omaha Junior Mavericks. They're shorthanded the rest of this game. A face-off in Maverick territory. Win comes back to the Scouts. The shot, their routine face-off win and shot there. Nice big rosy save this time.
Bear got that one off the hand.
Oh, Bear blocked it with his hand. Puck comes loose from behind the net out front. Off by Taz and then intercepted by Scouts. The hand pass by Bear. Batted down. That one's going to actually get kicked out, deflected out of the zone. Cross ice by Scouts at their own blue line. Big forward pass by the Scouts. A shake and bake. Now at the slot. Rebound attempt. Foiled. Sent towards the middle again and pushed back to the boards. Scouts circling. Lose control and get it out of the zone. 45 seconds left in the game. Intercepted by Stonebreaker, but quickly turned back over by the Scouts. The Bear picks it up at his own blue line. Zigzags through the neutral zone. Gets to the dot. Toe drag release. Big save. Lost sight of it. Goes back behind the net. Scouts try to fire it the length of the ice. They get it past everyone. That'll be an icing call. 26 seconds left in the game. 24 seconds left in the power play. So short-handed pretty much the rest of this game are the Omaha Mavericks. The four-man unit that comes out for the Mavs is going to be T-Squared and Allers. Nope. T-Squared and Jack Davis on offense. That's the Boss, and that's Nandy on defense. Scouts with a big face-off win off the power play in their own zone. Quickly gets through the neutral zone. Top of the circle, fires over the top of the net. Scouts get the rebound first at the short wall. T-Squared pushes it ahead. Defense stops it. Puck gets loose into the skates of a couple players there. Scouts lose control of it back out of the zone as the last 5 seconds tick off this clock. And end game number 2 with a big victory for the Kansas City Scouts. So 7-3 loss for the Omaha Mavericks and a 2-2 tie in the first game. A lot of coaching, experimenting on these games, I would say. Really a lot of looking for team chemistry and player chemistry as they went through these friendlies this weekend, trying to find the right combination of players that mesh best together to create line mates for the remainder of the season. Not sure if Coach saw that, but definitely well fought battle by the Omaha Mavericks. I feel like until they started getting into some quicksand in the third period and back-to-back goals occurred, there really was a lot of hustle and a lot of effort put up by the Omaha Mavericks, even though the score doesn't quite show that.
Yeah, tough. They get it to 4-3 and just a couple of quick goals and really took the wind out of their sails a little bit. But, these type of games are really important before you get into any tournaments, to play a couple of these games to learn something about your team in a situation against a peer team. Now, we saw them play against Bantam Black, not really a peer team. Those guys are playing a double-A. These guys will play at single A this year. And again, with so many first-year Bantams, for some of those guys, there's a lot to learn about the game when you play at what is 14U. And I think, lesson learned in a lot of instances here in the game. But the effort was there. The effort was there throughout 6 periods. That's got to be something that the coaches are happy to see. And now it just comes to getting it down so that the team is good at the basics. Get the basics down, start doing the things that you need to do every game, and like you said, getting the guys used to playing with one another, whether it be consistent lines or just kind of knowing what each guy is going to do and how he plays the game. They know what to expect when they go in when that happens, and that's a big step forward for the team.
A lot of good positives on the defense, I think, today. A lot of good positive takeaways on the defensive pairings and the defensive attack and the defensive back check. I guess I'm going to say, with Will having 2 goals today and creating quite the stir-up he did, just playing that defensive position and being an offensive defensive player. Coach has got to be really pretty happy with the defense that he saw for a large majority of the day. Now, they get caught in being an offensive defensive player or a team. You get caught too far ahead sometimes, and that's what we saw in a couple of those breakaway opportunities and long passes from the KC Scouts. When you're not looking behind you or you're not seeing that guy sneak back behind you and those long passes occur, you're already too many steps behind to play catch up when those passes get away from you. So that's something that the coach is definitely going to take away, and he's going to teach that defense to improve on. But nonetheless, I really like what I saw from the defense through both games of today's play.
Well, credit to the Scouts. They're a good team, and they skate real well and picked up a win in Game 2. 7-3 was the final after a 2-2 tie in the opener of these 2 friendlies. Reminder, if anybody would like to sponsor these broadcasts, reach out to Jody Heater or Jesse Knorr. They are spearheading that sponsorship gathering effort, and we could put you here on our broadcast with a logo and with some mentions, and there are some other opportunities as well with signage and all that. So reach out to them if you are so interested.
The Mav logo that you're seeing appear in between periods in the main center part of the screen, and then the rotating Mav logo that you're seeing in the lower right-hand part of your screen throughout the entire broadcast is something that we can incorporate your logo into. So we really appreciate your support, monetary or just watching and cheering us on from home. The players greatly appreciate every bit of support that we get from you. So if you're interested in those sponsorship opportunities, we'd be happy to mention your name several times throughout our broadcasting season and put your logo smack dab in front of everybody that watches our broadcast.
Thanks to Chase Newcomer for doing the stats for us. Awesome effort today as we get into a new season of broadcasts here, and thanks to everybody who's watched both games today.
Appreciate it, everybody. We look forward to seeing you in Lincoln for our next game, and we'll be broadcasting live in 2 weeks from the Oktoberfest tournament.
Oktoberfest, that's the next one coming up. Hope you'll join us in person or right here on YouTube. Thanks again.